All right. So, and I got to keep letting people in too. That's difficult. All right, guys. So we'll start. I'm going to go through a couple things. First, we obviously just ended March, so jumping into April with a fresh start. My favorite day of every month is the first day of the month. It's just a fresh start everywhere, and so we could take where we might have struggled in numbers, last month, and we can really start over. So let's talk about where we need to do that versus where we really succeeded. Let's see here. Can you guys see this email right here? You'll see all the red and green. You guys see that? Okay, cool.
Right? That's appointment,
So this
baby.
is
Right?
Lance. You should mute yourself. You could say something you regret. I think I can mute him. Yeah. So this is the pacing for the end of the month. Okay. So what's not included in here are resales, things like that, or whatever. But those things, I mean, this is a pretty consistent outlook of where we ended the month. And so let's talk about that quick. We'll talk about canvassing first because it's first on the list there. In canvassing, we ended up growing a little bit, over plan, 102%. It's not where we want to be at. I think at this point, anything less than 130% is sort of failure. we come to we've come to know that number as kind of a standard for us, on the canvassing side, 130%. So we want to be driving for that every month. That being said, we were at 110% a goal for Central, 112% for West. And the goal in Central was one of the biggest that we ever had. So to end at 737, is it a fail? No, it's not a fail, obviously. But I know that us in Central um, would love to see that 900 number. 900 is what we need to hit, close to it, in order to hit. It's like 880 something in order to hit 130%. So it's a lot of issue leads. For perspective, you could take that amount of issue leads is about half of what the actual pacing was for North and West combined. If you look at that, 900 issued leads, it's 50% basically of the over 50% of the overall plan for Central's ISC. That's all call-ins, everything. So it's a significant amount of leads, and so we shouldn't feel bad about hitting 110% of that goal for sure. But it just shows that we still have a little bit of room for growth. In North, we failed pretty miserably. Like it's I'm a big believer in, numbers don't lie. The numbers are in front of us. They're right there. We can be honest with ourselves about the numbers. We got behind quick, and that was uh um the issue is when you think about it, um we never really caught up by percentage. And so I'm optimistic about April. I think that we have a lot. Well, I know that we have a lot more people in now than we did, and I think that we have some people that are really driving for success. And I think that that's going to make a huge change in April. I am very optimistic for it. That being said, I didn't see a huge change in the numbers at the end of the month, so I'm cautiously optimistic. I think that it will be good. It will be fine. However, I'd be wrong if I wasn't cautious about it. A lot of the people that we've done training with over the last on the road now and are starting to see success. But the reality is, guys, when we talk about canvassing, there's two key components to it to making a successful department, and you got to have one or the other. It's preferable if you have both. Okay, if you want to be cost effective, you got to have both. You have to have the headcount number. Okay, and then you have to have the success per employee that you expect to have. So right now, when we look at our top 10 canvassers, I think 8 of them are from Central. Um, that's not a comfortable place to be in. And we need to focus on, okay, well, how do we make that better and more spread out? Have to do worse, but how do we get people to do better, right? We don't want to bring people down, but how do we bring people up? There's no reason why somebody in North or West can't be at the same amount of leads as someone in Central. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. But that's something that we definitely have to watch out for, because if either one of those things, if let's say that we start off April and both those things are true, we're averaging 2+ leads per day, and we have the people that we have now, we will be at or above plan right off the jump. And it's about starting today. In events, we started off strong, guys. We beginning of the month with the home shows and stuff like that, we were in a really, really good place facing for events. We ended off very weak. In Central, we ended off at negative 17%. That's the 37 leads. It's not a small amount of leads. Something's got to be done. Something's got to be fixed and taken care of. And I think that we have an idea of what it is, and I'll share that in a second, and an idea of how to fix that. In West, I'll say this, that first of all, welcome Chad. Chad just started with us kind of mid-month. He is he's got a lot of experience in sales and marketing and a lot of management experience. So I think it will be he'll be a great addition to the team. In addition to that, we also moved Mercedes up to an assistant management role. That to lose a leader, even if that person wasn't as effective as you want them to be, which when you do that, when you take out a position, which we did in the beginning of the month, like the first week of the month, it's extremely difficult not to have a drop in production. And we saw our minus go from minus 71 last month to minus 7 this month. And so that's a huge win. I call this a theoretic win, right? Now we have to continue that. And now that these guys are in place, we'll expect a lot more. But I think that we're going to see a huge change there, and that's great. And then up in North, we were at 147% of goal. So luckily, North team for events really come in a month that we need it, in both events and retail, which we'll see in a second. So excellent job with that. In retail, we really had a huge win in retail. Okay. In Central, we ended up at 97% of goal. Again, not where we want to be at, but a much better month than the prior month, than February. In West, we killed it, 157% of goal, which is great. And in North, we hit 156% of goal, which is great as well. Okay. So again, North kind of really doing a great job there, hitting overall like 150% of goal. A couple objectives truths there. Okay. First thing is that what we're going to realize quickly, I think, is that retail in West and North is going to become really, really important as we grow. Okay, it's important now, but it's going to become really, really important as we grow. And what I mean by that is that we're not going to continue to find a million events. We'll find a lot of smaller stuff, but we're not going to continue to find a million events. And we're pretty much booked up for everything, So we have what we have scheduled, and we have a good amount of events scheduled. But retail is really where their win is. I think that we can get more retail for Imagine. Okay. Same thing goes for Central too, but I think especially in North and West, we're going to see a huge need for it. Okay. By the way, every time I say Northwest, it's like Kanye West's kid's name Northwest, so I feel like I feel odd about that every time I say it. So I'm going to start saying West and North. It's also like a million other things North and West is. I don't know why my head goes there, but it's okay. The big need for a change in retail, guys, I think is important, because down in Central, in all of our, here's the thing, is reality of it is that I hear probably 75% of our event staff complain about retail on a consistent basis. Right? It's reality. That's probably a pretty accurate number. 75%. That's a lot. And so we need it. We need a change there. I think that in West and North, you guys do a great job of managing to it and managing to standards. We see basically the same production roughly that we see from events. But in Central, we see a huge difference in production from events to retail, and that just shouldn't exist. Hey guys, we're in front of people. That's the important thing. We could be wherever. We're in front of people. So the question was asked me yesterday, it was a great question, was, well, how are we going to get people bought into this, and how do we make people good at it? And the reality is, guys, we have to change the way that we think. And that's easier said than done. And a big part of that, by the way, too, is changing our hiring practices. If we can't, that's a big part of this. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is that if I you got to ask yourself this. If I said today to you, okay, I'm going to put you in front of 100 people in a bunch of different, you'll be canvassing for 100 people, you'll be doing events for 100 people, retail for 100 people. I'm going to put you on a bus with 100 people, okay? um why is this telling me there's only oh, okay, I can still go over the meeting time. It's saying 5 minutes left of my meeting. I'm like, oh no, it's gonna be on like a timer here. I feel like I'm in that movie Speed with Keanu Reeves. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but I feel like it had nothing to do with it at all. But um, can't go over certain miles per hour or something like that. It's a good movie if you haven't watched it. Um, so if you're in a sheets with 100 people, what is the difference? They're literally the same people. They are the same people, right? You might go, oh, well, they're in more of a rush. You don't know that. Events, okay? And I'm with a bunch of other people. Let's say I'm at the RV show that had a hallway that's like, I mean, it looks like a porta potty size. You know what I mean? Like it was a tiny ass hallway. Let's say that I'm there. People are going to be more in a rush technically there. Like I want to get the hell out of this crowd of people than they are anywhere else, right? If I'm at a home show, just think about the way that you're thinking for a second. If I'm at a home show, people aren't there to buy windows. People aren't there to buy windows, but we convince ourselves they are, and so we do well. The reality is it's just 100 people that you're in front of, or whatever amount of people you're in front of. You need to make it's your job to change your communication, not the customer's job to come to you. You know what I mean? So any situation that you're in front of 100 people. It's 100 damn people in our demographic. That's it. That's all that you need. Okay. It doesn't matter where they are, who they are. 100 people. If we're gonna put you in front of them, then they're probably our customer. 95% of the time, they're our kind of customer, right? Home values there, stuff like that. Okay, they're of age, stuff like that. They own a home. Most of the time, that's the way it's going to be. You should have the same result no matter what. If you don't, it's because you are the one trick pony, not because the customer situation is the problem. You need to create that experience. That's the most important thing. So think about it for home shows. We really trick ourselves into thinking this is going to be easy. This is going to be great. This is going to be awesome. What I can tell you guys from being at home shows in different capacities, working them, recruiting at them, and shopping at them, people aren't there to buy windows. They're not there to buy windows. They are no different than a person at an event, retail, or canvassing. They are there because they want to buy a pool. They have it in their head they're going to buy a pool. They are there because they want to buy a new roof. Okay, it's very rare that people go, "Oh, I'm here to buy windows." Okay, we still set people at a much higher rate than we do any other job. Why? We are the mindset that they want to buy windows because we put ourselves there, because we say things to them like let's say they say that's not the project I'm going for right now. We go, that's fine. This is a planning tool for your future. And we utilize things like that at the home show, but we don't do it in events, retail, and sometimes in canvassing. We do, and sometimes we don't. The results should be the same. In a Walmart, how is it any different than canvassing? How is it any different than canvassing? They're out shopping. They probably don't have a ton to do, depending on the day, depending on the time, right? They're not. It's not like they're carrying a million bags. They have them in a shopping cart. Okay, how is it different than showing when they're in the middle of cooking dinner and their kids running around like an asshole? You know what I mean? How is it any different? Honestly, like think about it for a second. The difference is in our head and how we approach these situations. And it's very important, guys. This defeatist attitude is what gets us varied results. It's the reason why, in some respects, we can do really, really great, but in others, we can't. you know? And so there's a bunch of different ways to defeat this mindset. But the first thing I wanted to tell you guys, very important thing, we're going to talk about this more in the events and in retail meetings that we have coming up here over the next couple weeks. But Max ISO, he has been a canvassing team lead for like 3 years here. Before that, he managed at a Best Buy for 8 years. He's like an expert in organizational structure of a retail location. He understands, for example, yesterday we were reaching out to different retail locations or whatever, and he knew exactly what position to reach out for, who to ask for, and how to get around these different walls that are put up against us all the time. And so he's starting yesterday, okay, as the retail manager in Central, okay. We're Nothing's going to change for staffing in Central, anything like that. We'll hire more people for retail because we're going to need more people for retail, but people are still going to have retail hours and things like that. But Max's job in Central is going to be to give us a big boom in retail and to start off hiring, training, and staff in retail. This should be a huge win for us. And if it works, then he can assist our other offices in finding more retail too. Like when we start a retail relationship in one place, let's say that it's I don't know, a giant grocery store, right? There's those in each location, right? So maybe we'll be able to use them as assistants there too. But for now, he's here to create a somewhat of a healthy separation between events and retail. As I'm told all the time that it's different customers, we might as well treat it like it's different, I guess, right? He's there to make that difference, which again is more in us than anything else. Okay. But I think he's going to be a great addition to that team. He ran the most successful canvassing team over the his team has consistently done well. It's a big loss in canvassing. It really is. Luckily, AJ, who's fantastic, is taking over his role, and we have some fantastic people on the team like Dylan Grubb and Xavier, others that have been here for a while that are going to take up the opportunity to be able to help lead from inside the team and eventually grow the team as well. So it's awesome to see that. It's awesome to see people move into a role that would be more suitable for them or just as suitable at least, and to see people grow. So it's a huge opportunity of growth for Max and for that department to really get started. My goal is to have retail rival canvassing within a year. Okay. $1 million in sales. Okay. So mind you, we'd be going from about 6 million to 60 million in a year. Okay. So next year we want to be in a position to be able to do that. It's only going to happen if we make solid changes to the structure and promote success. A different training system, for example, is needed. And there's going to be all these different changes that we see. So just a couple things. I'm going to put out a meeting to events managers for this week. There's 2 meetings that you guys got to expect coming up. The first one is to go over an organizational org chart with some changes to it. And all that does is it divides responsibilities in each office. It makes it easier for all of us to understand what we should be doing. One of the biggest things that I've noticed in events since taking over is that it can get very chaotic because there's so much going on. There's so much to do. And so many people don't have clear defined roles. Hey, I'm doing this, I'm handling this. And so a lot of it is passed off last minute to people. So I might call Mercedes and be like, hey, I know it's last minute, but I need this, and that. And then she's spending, a day and a half getting all that stuff together. Well, that's a huge waste when we can plan everything, so putting structures and systems in place will be great. We're also going to look at the training system and the script as well. There's some changes that I think need to be made to the script, but I want everybody's involvement and management to that to make sure that we all agree. It should be something that we universally can get behind. I hear a lot of people talk about how the script or rebuttals might be, not as effective, or they're going out there and changing them in the field because they feel like they have to. We don't want a system like that. We want everyone to be able to believe in it. Everyone's going to make their changes to scripting and whatnot, Same thing in canvassing, but if we can limit those changes and if we can anticipate where those changes are going to occur, it makes training a lot easier for team leads and for managers so they understand exactly where somebody is failing and it's much easier to be able to help them, right? So that's going to be a huge change too. So expect that for events managers on your calendar. This is all happening this week. So there's some huge stuff. Some very important stuff going on. Okay. Besides that, we do have a couple other trainings coming up. So on the 5th of the month, this is for canvassing, but also open to events as well. We're doing 101 to advanced training. So we're going to be talking a lot about transitioning and rebuttals there. We're going to customer interaction, approaching customers. If we have good events attendance on it, then we'll probably talk a lot about the approach to customers there as well. For events on the 7th, so 2 days after that, at 3 p.m., we have goal setting. All of these will be taped. And I got to set up the events. YouTube, we have a canvassing one, but I got to set up an events one. That'll be at 3 p.m. That's for events. Team lead training, that's for events and for canvassing. And that's going to be on the 10th at 10 a.m. And then dealing with objections, overcoming objections, is going to be on the 12th at 10:30 a.m. Okay. Um, Opportunities for you to get training over the next couple weeks. In addition to that, once we have a script ironed out, we're going to work on a training system too. So then that way new hires are getting better quality training when it comes to events and retail. It will be much more structured. And then that way people are passing, I almost said passing out, not literally, that would be bad, passing off to the next section. So, hey, I have this down now. I have a good understanding of this. The feedback that I've gotten is that people get out there and they're kind of terrified because they don't really know what to do. That if that's happening to you, then you need to question whether or not this is the job for you. However, if it's just a training issue, then that's something that we can work on and or fixed. Okay, so a lot of opportunity though for us to be able to learn from each other. Okay, all right. On the canvassing side, you should expect that team lead training is going to be very important for you or for people on your team that might want to go into a team lead role. In addition to that, we are going to start a round of sales ride-alongs for people that want to go into sales. And so I'll get that information out in the next week as well. Okay. Um, all right, guys, our goals need to start them off the right way. Let me pull them up quick. I had them, but I ended up deleting them. So, all right, so for the month, these should be the expectations. Let me see. And you might want to write this down if you need to. Oh, oops. All right, here we go. So for central canvassing, we have 621. Okay. So the 130% of that, which is what we actually are shooting for. So this is the goal that you'd write down, not the 631, 630 or 621. 621 is the bullshit goal. 621 times 130. Our goal is 807, 807, which is not actually bad considering that what it was in March. Okay. Um, for Central, our goal is 148. So 192. And for retail, it is 72, so that means 94. Okay, for West. West, our canvassing goal is 20, which means our non-bullshit goal is 286. In events, it is low this month. It's a low goal this month, which gives us a good starting point, I guess. Um, it's technically 59, but I'll tell you what, we don't want to get 59. We want to do way better than that. Let's all agree to a goal here of let's agree to a goal of 80. Okay. It's not going to affect obviously anybody's pay or anything like. Let's go for 80. Let's try to work on 80. I think that's a much better plan to go off of. The retail goal is let's see, 55. So 72. Let's go for 80 in each. I think we can do that. And so again, as we you got what you guys are going to find is as we grow this department, these departments, the goals are going to go up, pay will go up as well as the goals go up. And so we want to drive as much as we can. Even though it can be in North, our canvassing goal is 285. So that is 371. And guys, it's about starting the right way. That's the biggest thing. That's where we've had the issue. And so, like in North, for example, so we just got to start off the right way. Whatever the amount of leads per day we issue is, that's what we have to be at. Okay. Roberta, you guys in Events North, same thing. I'd say the goal technically is 47. So that would be at 130%, 61.
Yep.
But let's go for 80. Did you say something? Wow, I'm going like crazy, I guess. Unless you guys said something on Teams, because I can't see anybody. Or I'm going nuts.
We're here. We're here.
Okay, cool. All right, sounds good. So somebody did say something. I'm not going crazy. All right, and then for retail, so let's shoot for 80. We can do that, right? Let's shoot for 80. For retail too, I think that we need to adapt our goal. I think that it's at 30 right now. 30. That would put us at 39.
No, it's at 50 for retail.
Is it? Am I looking at an
Yeah.
old plan or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, I believe it's 50, so I'm figuring 65.
Okay, cool. All right, perfect. Let's do that. All right. Yeah, and these I don't know why is maybe they made changes to it, but I'm looking. You see what I'm looking at, right? I'm not going crazy, right?
No, it's just
All right. Well, let's go with that 65 number then. That's good. Let's try that. And I think that's a better number to go for anyways. And that's the thing that we're going to see, guys, is we're going to see these events and retail numbers grow significantly. I think right now I get it. The events goals a lot of times are higher than the retail goals. A lot of times are. We're going to see, I think, retail climb. Events won't more events. We'll come up with more creative stuff. But I think that our ability to jump into retail quickly is going to allow us to be able to to grow retail very, very fast. Okay. And so that should be our focus. And then we have all these ideas. We got to get them into fruition. So the condo association thing we talked about doing that that paper, the what do you call that? The event that you guys wanted to do up there? The shredding event. Yeah, yep. That would be great. And then we talked about a block party here. That would be great. So let's get that stuff going too. We've created a lot of retail relationships over the last couple couple weeks down here in Central. I can speak to Britt got us into the Tanger outlets in 2 locations, both Hershey and Lancaster. And then also I was eating over at my new favorite restaurant. It's been my favorite for a while, I guess, but the Evergreen Brewery. And there was a World Down Syndrome Day thing going on there. So we got into there. Then Britt got us in quarterly to there as well, just to go set up there, which is awesome. We might be able to get into this what do they call that? What that game right there? The one where you throw the bags, the cornhole tournaments there too. So, but we got all kinds of neat stuff going on, and so we'll have location here soon. For managers, we got to start getting ready for mid-year planning as well. So we'll do that in a couple weeks. What I like to do and what we'll do is for events as well as pick a subject, like one big focus that we have collectively. We'll work on that together, and then you'll be able to update for your location. So we'll go through that. It's new for a lot of you guys, so we'll meet about that probably in 2 weeks or so. Besides that, I appreciate you guys. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything. I don't think so. So, we need to get those March Madness sizes to Carly as well. So, I'll get her to work on that today, and we'll be good to go. We got to get those ordered. Thank you guys.